I'm Christina Heideck with PTO Answers, and today I'm going to talk to you all about super smart fundraisers for this year, really the rest, probably the next couple of years, until we are back in school with everything running like before the pandemic. Things are going to be a little funky, and so I know that you want some more support in this area because we still need to raise money as PTAs and PTOs so that we can go on with our programs and events, right? But how do you raise funds when, one, the economy's kind of in the toilet right now? A lot of people are out of work, or their hours are reduced, or their pay has been reduced in some way. So is it like smart to be fundraising right now? And I'm gonna say yes, it's fine to be fundraising now, but really you have to be thinking about as a group, like if you actually need to be fundraising. Like I think it's never a good idea, never ever a good idea to be fundraising just for the sake of it. And we'll get into that more in another video. But today I'm going to tell you like different ideas that I think are really fun and smart and kind of clever that I think you can put on right now this year. So I just have a tickle, not sick, just a tickle. So the first idea I have for you, and this is something that you can be doing this year, like every single year. I highly suggest it. It's an easy way for money just to kind of pile up without you even like actively promoting it, because a lot of these things are like set it and forget it. That's kind of like fabulous if you just have money that keeps coming on in without you having to do anything, right? So what kind of program is this that just magically like sends you money every year? That's grocery loyalty programs. So I want you to look into every single grocery store in your area, especially if you have larger chains. In my area, we have 2 different grocery stores. One that is, well, they're both kind of small and regional. One is much bigger than the other, but they both offer loyalty programs. And so these programs, if you're unfamiliar about how these work, basically people register their loyalty cards and say, hey, I want to give some, like, I want whichever school to benefit from it. So like my totally made up PTO in my school, made up school is Bluestone PTO. Okay, so they would select, I want my money to go back to Bluestone. Okay, and so for Giant Eagle is one grocery store in my area. You select that one time, and that's a good, like your school selection is good until I think forever. Another grocery store that we have in my areas is Heinen's. They're much smaller. They make you reselect every year, so it is a little bit more work. But I kind of also like that you have to reselect every year, because then it gives you a reminder as the PTO coordinator of this program to like that you need to tell all the new parents that have come in. So it's a really easy way to be raising money. And so how the program works is that people, when they buy things with their, or when they go shopping and they show their loyalty card and scan it, your PTO or your school gets a little kickback, gets a percentage of the funds rate or of the funds that are spent. So like people are buying that stuff anyway. So it really makes sense for you to be enrolling in these programs and also actively promoting them. All right, so another idea that I have that I think is, again, something on the more of the lines that you probably are already doing this, but if you haven't yet jumped into this, I think it's a nice time to give you a reminder, and that's for like restaurant fundraisers. So that's where you would schedule a night with the fundraiser, or with the restaurant rather, and say, hey, we're gonna drive traffic into you, and you in return are gonna give us a little kickback. So again, the amount varies. Because I live in Cleveland, in the suburbs of Cleveland, there's like a whole bunch of different opportunities. And so we've had varying experiences with different restaurants. And maybe this is a topic to get into, how to maximize your profits from restaurant nights, or dining to donate, or dining for dollars. They go by a whole bunch of different names. So maybe I'll mark that down because I don't want to get into it now. But there's definite like drawbacks. There are, of course, drawbacks to any fundraiser, but for the restaurant nights in particular, it's not like you're guaranteed the sales because you are relying on the restaurants to have their acts together in order to be recording those sales and to be attributing the sales to you. So again, I'm just going to make a mental note. We'll circle back around to that one with another video because I have some thoughts that I would like to share about that. All right, my second idea, and this one actually, I should say, I can't take particular claim for authorship for any of these because I've just been like trying to be open like a sponge, and whatever ideas come my way, I've been writing them down. And so I happen to come up with, I think I have 8 of them here to share with you today, but like, no, I'm not coming up with these. I'm just like hearing about them. A lot of these are coming up from ideas in my own PTA from other brilliant members, but also a lot of these are coming from the superstars in the PTO Superstar Leader group. And that's a Facebook group. It is free to join. It's the group that I run. And so if you are not yet a member of this fabulous group, I will tell you, this is just like a smidgen of the greatness that comes out of that group. So go ahead and request to join today. All right, so my second idea, and this one I'm really excited about, and I did offer my own little tweak on this. So, and this is for adults, right? Because we're all adults. Offer a virtual wine tasting. Like, how fun would that be? I am not a wine drinker, but I am clearly a talker. And I think anything that kind of gives people an opportunity to have like a normal event sort of experience is going to be one that people would take you up on. So for a virtual wine tasting, this is one way it could work. So I've seen that you will pick up like a whole flight of like little wine samples. And then I think there's some kind of program that goes along with it to where like an order that you should taste them and like different things. But it would be pretty easy to come up with, I think. And then you could even designate like a time for everyone to come through and do it together. So if you didn't want to designate a time and do that, you could also make it into like a date night where it's like a date night to go. Like, how fun would that be? My tweak on this one, because I'm such a fanatic about chocolate, I would offer a virtual chocolate tasting. Everybody would love that. And I was suggesting to my group, like, why don't we do that in February? Because it'll, again, give something, I don't know, it just gives people something to look forward to. So I think you could partner with a local chocolatier to come up with, and I'm sure they're already doing these sort of events anyway. If they're a smart chocolatier and a smart marketer, they're already doing these things anyways. And so they will be able to really help you come up with this really quickly. Oh, and Karen says, I think we need to try this in the Superstars group. What, wine tasting? Yes, I'm about on the verge to needing to I either need wine or chocolate like stat. And again, I don't drink wine, so it's gonna have to be chocolate. But it really could be fun. So, all right, my next idea is to offer either like a clam bake, because now is the fall, it's the time for this, or some other kind of special dinner that will give people a reason to look forward to something. So, because right now, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of like, man, there's really nothing coming up that I'm looking forward to not in life, and that sounds kind of depressing, but I think y'all know what I mean. When normally our schedules are so packed full of things, and so we have all sorts of funness going on, there's really been a lack of fun things for us to do for like the last 7 months now. And so, well, maybe 6 months, but you know what I mean. So like, I think people are yearning for this kind of stuff, so it really makes sense for you to offer this. People will, and they would love to support. If someone gave me like a really good idea or a really good reason to do something, for example, I think I've shared with you before that my husband and I are huge Princess Bride fans. He, much more so than I, he can recite that entire movie verbatim, which is either endearing or annoying. I'll let you pick which one I think it is. We've been married for almost 20 years, so again, the shininess of that love has worn off. I do love him, but there was a group who was offering a virtual table read, like a script reading of The Princess Bride. And they said, you can donate however much money you want and you'll get to come. So you could give $1 or $1,000. Well, we ended up giving almost $30 because I was like, what's it worth to me to have a night of entertainment, like something one to look forward to. And they did it in such a way where it really was an event, and they kept naming all these different guests, like special guests who were going to come in and read different parts, because of course some of the characters who were, or some of the actors who were in the movie have since are no longer with us, like Andre the Giant, for example. His part was read by Josh Gad, and it was really fun. And you might think, well, Christina, you paid $30 to go to a Zoom meeting. Well, yeah, I did, but I got to see really funny people. Like Billy Crystal got really into it, and Mandy Patinkin was awesome in it. So don't underestimate the power of coming up with a creative idea to entertain people, okay? So that is, I want you to get your like creative thinking hats on and really think out of the box, because people will go for it and people will support you, and it'll be fun and you'll raise money, which is like the best kind of fundraiser ever, right? All right, so my next idea, and this is a great one for seniors, like so high school groups especially can do this. And this is one that I kind of had an inspiration from, I'll just give her a shout out. Michelle West is an awesome member of the PTA PTO Superstar Leader Group. And in the spring, they were doing like a flocking sort of idea where they would go, and this was actually my next idea, so I should just kind of talk about it now, but they would go and put signs in people's yards for a night, and then they had a team and they would move them. So they were like lawn decorations. And there's a couple different ways to run this program. One, you can have it so that people have to pay to get the flamingos or whatever toilets. I've seen different variations on the theme, but they have to pay to have them moved. Or if you think, like in our community, I don't think people would pay to have them moved, but I think they would have them paid to be put there. So instead of the flocking, that's why I came up with the idea to kind of, and have made like specialty signs that celebrate seniors. So you'd say like, congratulations, seniors, and we're gonna have the school logo, like put into like a specialty like die cut sign. And so I thought, well, nobody else in the area has this. And so this is like, again, a service that the PTA can provide, but it can act as a fundraiser, because without, like, how many people do you know that had graduation parties this year, right? Probably enough to fill up your pinky, when usually there's like handfuls and handfuls, right? So this is giving families a way to celebrate their senior, and something unique and something that engages the community. So I think it's a great idea on a couple different fronts. And I think it's something that you can offer and only you can offer. Like nobody else is gonna come up with this idea. So either if you do the flockings or if you do the senior signs, whichever one, it's gonna be unique to you. So you will have a corner on the market, and I think it will be successful, like really successful. All right, kind of a catty corner to those two ideas is to create a school sign. Like this is gonna be especially powerful if your school doesn't already have signs. In our area, we have some typically more wealthy, more affluent communities that have like a crap ton of different yard signs. Like you will drive into their community, it's like, you know, we love Chase #6 on the soccer team, and those kind of, you know, the vinyl sign or PVC signs. Those are the lawn signs that I'm talking about. I've heard in my research that the garden signs do not hold up well. So if you have an area that has weather, do not go with the fabric garden signs. Get like the bigger signs. Just word to the wise, in my research for our senior sign project, that's what I heard. So just wanted to relay that to you. But again, it's like a twofer. Like any of those sign ideas, it'll raise awareness about your group, and it'll just kind of, I think, will help. Anytime you can identify yourself as like a member of a tribe, it makes you feel really good. I'm going to step right into the political zone here for a little bit, but if you feel very strongly about either the Democrats or the Republicans this year, when you are driving around seeing the signs, you're like, ooh, I love it when I see my own tribe sign, right? So the same idea will work with your school signs, and having them all concentrated in your area, I think will be really beneficial. So that is a great one to consider anytime, but especially right now, because it's a great virtual option. Okay, so my last idea to share with you, and this kind of connects back with like give people an experience, but do art kits to go. So this one involves you partnering up with a local kind of art shop. So I'm thinking of like a ceramics or one of the paint your own pottery places. Again, these local businesses are going to be looking for opportunities for business. They're struggling. I guarantee you they're struggling. So you can, and you're struggling. So it's a great idea for you guys to partner up and see how you can help each other. So you're going to have to reach out to them and see what kind of things that they're offering. But in my own community, I've seen like our paint your own pottery kind of places. They have already come up with little kits to send home to try and market to families. So if you can help spread the word about these kits, they're going to give you a little kickback. Like, so you are going to earn a percentage of the profits, and it'll be something fun and for things, something for people to do, because we are all getting tired of reorganizing our houses, right? No, not really. Okay, so overall, I want you to think about when you're doing fundraising, instead of doing a catalog sale, because that involves a lot of like manual work and also like in-person work, and it's kind of annoying that you would have to be hanging out at the school with a whole bunch of products that people need to pick up, and your school administration probably is not going to be too keen on that idea of having all these droves of parents coming in. So look for things that can be delivered directly to families, or that they can go and pick up from the vendor. So with the chocolate and the wine and the art kit examples, those are all things that the parents, the families, the people who are purchasing the items can go directly to the vendor. So it kind of cuts out your workload. So I think that's a very smart idea. Also cuts down on your exposure risk. But I really want you to be thinking just about things that people would buy anyway, and that would they pay just a little bit more to support you in your fundraiser. So like that's the whole idea behind the clam bake and the special dinner that I mentioned earlier. Ooh, and about that special dinner, one of my friends was like, well, what do you think in PTA? She's like, well, what do you think about having a spaghetti fundraiser like we had last year in person? And I said, well, I'm gonna be real honest. That spaghetti was nothing special. I totally could have made that on my own at home without leaving and without spending more. So if you were gonna go the food route, and actually if you're gonna go any route, make sure that it's special to you. Give people a reason to buy from you and not just go do it somewhere else, right? So that's the best kind of fundraisers, when you have like a unique corner on the market. So that's why I think like those senior signs are a really good idea, or the school signs, because that is something unique to you that like Target isn't gonna replicate, or the dollar store. Like you can't go and get school signs at the dollar store, that kind of stuff. So I want you to be really smart about this. Because I think if you just sit with this and maybe just take any one of the like 8 or 9 examples that I just gave you and let them marinate with you, you're gonna come up with your own spin on how to make it work for your own PTA or PTO, and then that's gonna be like a really brilliant idea. So feel free to steal these ideas so that you can use them, and I want to hear if you use one of them. I want to hear from you. I want to hear if you like these ideas, because I will try and sit and come up with even more for you. And I just would love to hear from you. So as always, this video is going to remain on the Facebook page, and I'm also going to be sharing this video on the YouTube channel, the PTO Answers YouTube channel. So you will have a couple different places to check this out. Also going to be sharing it into the PTO Superstar Leader group. Again, I'm going to say, if you are not already a member of that group, I don't know what you're waiting for. It is the best collection of over 8,000 brilliant leaders just like you, who are waiting with their great ideas and support and deep knowledge to share with you. So it is linked in the group. If you go up to the top, I think here it's called Community. If it doesn't work for you there, you can type in ptoanswers.com/Facebook, and then it'll bring you back to the group, and you can make sure to answer those questions, or we're not, the moderators won't know to let you in, so you need to completely answer the questions, and then you can come inside with everybody else, because it is a fantastic group. Okay, so I am gonna end right here, but I hope these ideas have been really helpful for you, and then I hope it just like sparks something in you, and you're like, Yes, Christina, thank you for that. That's all I needed. And then you just go off and running. And I want to hear about all those fantastic fundraising, like all the stories and all the great successes that are to come. So again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about, is it possible to have too many fundraisers? Dun, dun, dun. That's so like, oh, I don't know. All right, I'm going to be talking to you about that and then another topic on Thursday. So I hope you come back and join me live. So until then, guys, you take care and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.